Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. My name is Natalia Moczulska and this is the news. The Ukraine counteroffensive continues to achieve success. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that more than 6,000 square kilometers had been freed since the beginning of September. In the last 24 hours, 8 villages were liberated. The successes of the Ukrainian troops are forcing the leadership of the Russian occupation authorities in Crimea to hurriedly evacuate their families to Russia. The Ukrainian counteroffensive is going extremely well. Russians are leaving other occupied cities. Units of the National Guard of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Forces entered the city of Sviatohirsk step by step, meter by meter. We are liberating our land from the occupant. The victory will certainly be ours. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the National Guard of Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked the army for its heroic attitude. He assured that the whole homeland would be rebuilt. Funds for the reconstruction of damaged facilities and aid will also go to the liberated areas. From the first days of September until today, our soldiers have liberated over 6,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory in the south and east. Our forces are advancing. Although the counteroffensive goes well for the Ukrainians, the government in Kiev is trying to cool down emotions and reminds that there is still a long and hard fight ahead for the Ukrainian people. At present, fighting is still going on in the Kharkiv region. The cities that the Ukrainian forces entered are still undergoing stabilization measures. This means working against saboteur groups and ensuring security measures. It is too early to say that full control of the region has been established, but the process is ongoing. Despite the defeats on the front, the Russians keep firing at Ukrainian cities. Defenders are trying to shoot down Russian missiles, but a few still fall on civilian targets. The Russians fired on educational institutions tonight. The school and kindergarten were destroyed. Social infrastructure facilities, clinics, and private buildings also suffered. Our children were left without school as a result of the missile attack, and that's over 500 children. Over 80 children attended the kindergarten. We are sure we will win. Our armed forces are advancing. Glory to the armed forces. Experts remind that Ukraine would have lost the war long ago if it were not for the support of Western countries. The largest suppliers of weapons for the fighting Ukraine are the United States and Poland.
What they have done has been very methodically planned out, and of course it's benefited from significant support from the United States and many other countries.
The American Institute for War Studies took up the topic of the Ukrainian counteroffensive. Scientists are convinced that this may be one of the most crucial moments of the war. Both the withdrawal of units from forward positions in Kiselivka and reports of talks on surrender indicate that the Ukrainian counteroffensive in the south is bringing significant results. Ukrainian troops are successively taking back the occupied territories. According to Die Welt, Kiev did not expect such a large number of prisoners, and there is a problem with the place of their imprisonment. Many high-ranking officers were to be captured. Yesterday night, Azerbaijan launched a massive artillery and aerial shelling of southeastern Armenian territory, the scale and nature of which were unprecedented. According to the Armenian side, at least 49 Armenian soldiers were killed. As of now, we have 49 service personnel killed in action, confirmed by the Ministry of Defense. But I have to admit as well that this figure is regrettably not the final one. Azerbaijan is trying to claim that these actions came as a response to some kind of provocations by the Armenian side, but we can definitely state that this information is absolutely false and has nothing to do with reality. In response to the large-scale provocation of Armenia, the Azerbaijan army is conducting local countermeasures and neutralizing firing points. Armenia's ongoing military adventurism and revanchism policy, intensive shelling of the positions of the Azerbaijan army in the Kalabahar, Lachin, Dashkasan, and Gadabay directions over the past month, and its large-scale provocations today are the main reasons for the aggravation of the situation. Military political leadership of Armenia bears responsibility for all of these. President Vladimir Putin is making every effort to contribute to the de-escalation of tensions on the Azerbaijan-Armenia border. Armenia constantly provokes Azerbaijan. Last night, they were engaged in provocation again on the border, and beloved Azerbaijan gave the necessary answer. They should learn their lesson. We stand by beloved Azerbaijan. We say it once again. Beloved Azerbaijan is not alone. Around 2 a.m. local time, Azerbaijani armed forces began a massive shelling of the southeastern section of the border with Armenia, using heavy artillery and drones. Around the same time, there was an attempt by Azerbaijani ground forces to break through the Armenian defense line. Both sides blame each other for the start of hostilities. Armenia and Azerbaijan have been in dispute for decades over Nagorno-Karabakh, which legally lies within Azerbaijan's borders, but is an independent state entity, though not recognized by any other country, not even Armenia, while ethnic Armenians control it. The conflict last escalated in 2020. More than 6,000 people were killed then. The British are saying goodbye to their country's longest reigning queen. More mourning ceremonies have been planned in London today, following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Earlier today, Britain's King Charles III took time to greet well-wishers in Northern Ireland at the tail end of his first visit as monarch. Charles and his wife Camilla later took off to return to London, ahead of a procession to take the late Queen Elizabeth's body to Westminster Hall for a period of lying in state. More than 30,000 people walked by the coffin containing the body of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh today. The people of Scotland had the opportunity to pay tribute to the Queen in this way. At its peak last night, the queue of people waiting to enter the cathedral was more than 1.5 kilometers long.
Our last respect to the Queen, the wonderful lady who's been on reign for a long time, 70 years, and no other king or queen been doing such a long service. So, and this great lady, dutiful and steadfast. She did everything meticulously and made sure the royal family followed all the rules, and she was great. And our duty to pay respect for them.
I have no negativity regarding that. I feel absolutely fabulous, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm just here to because my heart is bringing me here today, and I just want to be able to experience and to say thank you once again for the Queen.
And I will never miss this for the world, because this will never happen again. And I just like to see the reactions from people over the world.
Tomorrow, the coffin containing Elizabeth II's body will be moved to the Palace of Westminster, where it will be on public display from 5 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. on the day of the monarch's funeral, September 19th. The ceremony is scheduled for 11 a.m. London time at Westminster Abbey. Later, the coffin containing Elizabeth II's body will be placed only in the presence of her immediate family in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. And finally, Paris will switch off the Eiffel Tower's lights an hour earlier than normal, lower the water temperature in municipal pools, and delay heating public buildings to save energy this winter, the city's mayor announced earlier today. The measures are aimed at meeting President Emmanuel Macron's goal that industry, households, and municipal authorities reduce their energy consumption by 10% in response to Russia's cut to gas supplies and spiraling energy prices. Around Europe, countries are looking for ways to cut energy consumption and fill up their gas stores in preparation for a possible total cutoff. France is not as exposed to Russian gas as some neighbors, but a record number of nuclear reactor outages has forced France to import power when it would typically be an exporter, exacerbating the pressure on power markets. The capital's energy bill would hit €90 million this year, 35 million more than usual, even with long-term electricity and gas contracts shielding authorities from the worst of the cost increases. Ending the lighting up of the Eiffel Tower at 11:45 p.m. corresponds to the closing hours of the Eiffel Tower and the end of visiting hours, which will allow us to reduce energy consumption, and symbolically it's important. The City of Lights will always be the City of Lights. And also, I've said that I wouldn't want to halt urban lighting in Paris, in our neighborhoods, because it is also a question of security. The Eiffel Tower is currently illuminated until 1 a.m. by a lighting system that lends it a golden glow. At the top of each hour while lit, it twinkles thanks to 20,000 flashing bulbs. Extinguishing the monument's lights at 11:45 p.m. would mean a 4% reduction in its power consumption. Mayor Anne Hidalgo also announced that from September 23rd, lighting in Paris's public buildings would be switched off at 10 p.m., while the water temperature in pools would be reduced to 25 Celsius from 26 Celsius. The heating in public buildings will be dialed down by 1 degree to 18 Celsius. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please stay tuned for Poland Daily Weather, Poland Daily Business, and some of our other programs. But from me, it's have a wonderful evening.